Come correct. Hey, don't show up not ready.
I know, right? We put y'all on the spot,
No,
right?
that was awesome. That's the world we live in is thinking like that.
Yeah.
Mindset. You know, you mentioned longevity, right? We have a podcast and we do videos and audio and all that in Atlanta. And we had an event, and the name of our first event was priming yourself for long-term success mentally, physically, and spiritually.
Wow.
And that kind of covers the gambit of what we do. Our goal is hustle up, right? So we feel that a lot of people read the books and they watch the podcast or listen to the podcast and watch the videos, but then there's still that element of self-doubt or fear or whatever that barrier is that prevents you from acting.
Yeah.
So ours is hustle up. Ours is get that information and then hustle up and put it out there, but it's also a spiritual take where it's hustle up to your highest frequency. Be your highest self person.
Wow.
And so we like to do like interviews like that, and you know it all ties together into music, and especially into music because you know you think of universe, and universe literally means one song.
Yeah.
Universe, one song.
Yes,
So
yes.
yeah, so it's amazing, and I mean I'm just kind of running. I get excited.
No,
when
it's
I like that. Say that again. Say that universe.
I actually read that before.
Yeah.
Say that.
One song.
Yeah,
One
uni
song.
means one and verse means song.
Song,
So
yep.
universe is one song, and we're kind of all living this one song together and all doing it together. And so that element of team and how do you make it as an indie artist, it's, you know, that's the surface level conversation, but it's applicable to a bunch of different kind of conversations.
You asked what was different 15 years ago than now, and that in a lot of ways social media is, you know, it does help you out, but all of the resources on the internet, YouTube is the new college. You want to learn how to mix and master, there's a tutorial. You want to learn how to work Ableton or Logic, there's a million tutorials. So you can get on, and if you're putting in the hours, or what does Michael say, industry hours, tapped in.
Tapped in, yeah.
Right.
I want you to say that again for the artists out there.
Yeah.
Talk about those tutorials, because a lot of times artists come in believing that the person that engineered their stuff did the best job for them, and they don't know the difference.
Yeah.
Look at Russ. Look at Russ. He's a prime example.
Exactly.
He's doing all of this stuff himself. He taught himself everything, and everything I've learned, I use Ableton. So everything I've learned about Ableton has come off of a YouTube tutorial. Every single thing.
And see, back in the day, the labels, they didn't want you to know all that information.
Right.
Because they wanted you to depend on it.
Information is power.
That's
Knowledge
right.
is power. And you're empowering yourself by learning. That tapped in, if you're not working, if you're not producing, be learning.
Look at y'all.
So let's start from the beginning before we get too deep.
Hustle up.
Exactly.
How did Hustle Up start? Like how
Right.
did y'all create this?
So I'll just give a kind of high level. We've been friends for years now, and every time we're just creators, whether we're creating music. So when I have a tech company that got funded in 2016, and I dropped out of college to build that. And when I did that, I literally sacrificed my whole social life. And so all I did was freestyle and write lyrics and stuff, because that's what brought out my spirit. That's what made me like feel good. That's how I kept my creative side going while my other side was learning business for years when I wasn't going out and hanging out with people. And he was one of the few people that I hung out with consistently, and we would just be creating all the time. And the conversations, and then he owns his own companies too, and so now we're 4 years later and we have all this business experience, all these incredible spiritual, mentally developed conversations, and we were like, we would be remiss if we didn't put a microphone in between us, start getting this and get this information out to our peers and our other millennials or anyone who's looking to be in that abundance mentality instead of a scarcity one.
Right.
Wow.
And it's not just us too, it's the ecosystem, like the people that are coming over and sitting in on these conversations and contributing to these conversations. We're sitting there going, I haven't had conversations like this before. Like these are always next level. So we've grown up in a lot of ways, and we've hustled up, and the businesses have gone to new places. But we thought it would be cool to document the process.
So you guys do video and a podcast, so you all know the importance of consistency. Could you just talk?
As soon as you said
on that?
consistency,
He looked over at me and smiled. That's the name of the game.
And persistence
Yeah.
equals predictability. Consistent results.
Say that again.
Yes.
Consistency, persistence equals predictable results.
Okay. Wow.
And it's being able, it's that element of going from point A to point B, regardless of if you have failures or if you have success, but with that same passion that you had on day one. So it's not like, you know how they say practice makes perfect?
Yeah.
only if you perfectly practice.
Makes
Right.
That's
So if
loud.
you're, so the internet, just like, you know, and you guys mentioned this in the last interview as well, but the internet is a tool, like a gun or like money. It's a tool, and it's how you use it and who's using it that's going to dictate what it does, right? And so it's just it's a tool to really get out there and make that happen.
So just for everybody else to understand exactly what it is that you guys do, can you just say exactly what it is that you do?
We run a podcast that releases 2 to 3 episodes a week and a monthly networking event for other young hustlers trying to get ahead in life. So the idea being people who are doing more than the minimum to get the maximum. We think a 40-hour work week is standard. That's what's required. But we're trying to get in touch with interviews and just, you know, having our own take on what does it look like for the 50, 60, 80, 90-hour work weeks that only come from being passionate about what you do. You got to hustle. Do you have a side hustle? What is it you want to do, and how do you get there?
We feel like we were given this message from all the information that we got to go for your goals and your dreams with all the ambition in the world, but be fulfilled while on that journey. And so whether it comes from our audio, whether it comes from our video, whether it comes from an Instagram story picture you've seen or a Twitter status, it doesn't matter. We just want to get that message and get people on that higher vibrational frequency where they can pursue what they love and love doing it while they do that.
So that's a little bit of spirituality in there.
Oh, yeah.
You're talking about frequencies and stuff. How did you combine that with what it is that you do?
Business, mindset, relationships, and spirituality. So the meta, you just said that?
No, and fitness.
And fitness, yeah. There's the mind, body, spirit element, and when the mind and body are both being trained, the spirit comes into alignment. But you know, I also think you can do other stuff, meditation, prayer, whatever your facet or medium is, right? But the key being, we get the relationships part came from, you know, how do you navigate being a hustler and getting into a relationship? Should you build your empire and then find your king or queen, or should you start building, go ahead and date somebody and start building with them? And we just wanted to explore these topics.
How do you work 120 hours a week and not be stressed or depressed or anxious? And it's like, it's taking these spiritual concepts that have been around for thousands of years and applying them in today's society. And that's what the Hustle Up is. It's taking this ethereal, universal, conscious message and applying it into your actions, because we're not remembered for the things we say we're going to do. We're remembered for what we do.
What we do.
And so it's taking that and bringing these vibrations to Earth.
And then connecting everybody together.
Right.
Yeah.
So in an industry like our music industry and all the artists, how do you think you will be able to infiltrate the mindset of a lot of the young artists today?
So that's a great question. So for one, we have the interviews, right? So we have, and we would love to have, you know, like you guys come on, like people who have that experiential knowledge, because that's what the books and the podcasts and all the videos, they give you at surface level. But when you have someone, the why is important. We all know everything starts with the why, but what gets lost is the how.
The how.
And that's what our interview is for. And so that's kind of how we do it, is we bring these interviews in and we deliver the how through the messages of other people, where we're just the vehicle that gets it out and is that level of distribution. We want to get your how and your why and get that to as many people as we can. And by targeting and through our branding and marketing, you know, people from all different kind of niches or all kind of different demographics, any kind of walks of life can relate, because these are messages that transcend any race. This is transcending any culture, any kind of occupation, any kind of anything. This message applies to everyone around the world. Exactly.
Universal. I love that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just gonna say, I'm so glad you guys came on, because a lot of times artists don't get to hear that. We don't get to hear that. So wherever you can display what it is that you do, I think that you should do that. I mean, hustle up and then get on your A game. You got it going on. You know what I'm saying?
Where can I actually link up with them?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So how can we reach you? What's
There's a few ways. So Instagram at HSTLUP. Facebook, same deal, Hustle Up, hustleup.com. And then we do, the last Tuesday of the month, we do our free networking group. This one's on relationships, next one's on music. Yep. So that's at Red Martini, 7 p.m., last Tuesday of the month. It's July 30th this month.
And again, that's Hustle Up with no vowels, HSTLUP.
There is a U in the up, but
no vowels.
HSTLUP.
Yep.
But you guys hear it here, hustle up. So I think that's a good thing. We are so
Yeah,
glad to
and
have
if
you.
anyone's watching, like, reach out because we want to bring all the hustlers in Atlanta.
That's
Like,
right.
we want, like, this is we're in a time of renaissance because of what technology is, and a time where we can all really create. And like you were saying, everybody has a fair entry point now.
Yeah.
Democratization is happening through everything. There's no central force, no gatekeepers anymore. And so if you can get on the right message and you can get the tools, you can go to YouTube University, you can build the right team. If you get that, that's 20% of the battle, but 80% is that resilience and that mindset
right.
to keep on pursuing it.
And you said this is on the 30th. You got
30th.
everybody else Heatseekers?
Yeah, so this one, so our
Yeah.
first one was priming yourself for long-term success, mentally, physically, and spiritually. Our last one, we had a panel of these three guys who have all built companies bigger than $10 million. So
Bigger
it
than
was
$100 million.
$100 million.
Wow.
So it was the title of that event was Making Multi-Million-Dollar Companies with People Who've Done It. And this one is called Sex, Romance, and Relationships in the Age of Information. Because we're all familiar with the hookup culture, right? And we're all familiar with what he was talking about is that archetype of person who wants to build the empire and doesn't think that a relationship can do that. Like, I'm going to be independent, I'm going to build this, and then I'll explore that. But, we want to have a panel of professionals who say there are ways to do certain things if done correctly.
Who also happen to all be entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Hustle up.
There it is. You have it here. New Music Day Live representing Hustle Up.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much. Thank y'all.
Again, thank you guys for joining in. If you want to send music to us at Heatseekers, remember it's Heatseekers, int@gmail.com. And if you want to sponsor, it is actually, the number is, you can call the main office at 404-765-9750. Wow.
Call it up.
Thank
Awesome
you.
show, y'all.
That's what's your real names? What's your name?
Clint. I'm
Clint.
Clint.
At JONATHANHESSING, Jonathan Hessing.
That's right. At CLINTCROWE. Let's go.
And we the Heatseekers want to give a shout out to our last guest, Ms.
Yes.
Jazz over here. Thank you very much for over here.
Thank you so much for coming.
Hey, and want to give a special shout out to the other Heatseekers that are not here today. Jay Morris, Feel Better, NY Lady J, is Rich Red, and Mantel. Brianna Richey right here. See everybody right here. Hey.
We see y'all next Wednesday.
See y'all next Wednesday, same time.
Hustle up.